Imagine looking at the horizon and realizing the mountains only exist because you're looking at them. A vast landscape rendering only when your eyes provide the command. We've always been told the universe is made of matter and energy. But what if the true foundational layer is actually a series of mathematical commands executed by a machine we can't even see? If our reality is a giant Windows environment, every coincidence you've ever experienced, the lucky break, the perfect timing, might just be a bug in the code or a deliberate scripted event designed to keep the narrative moving. The BIOS of our existence, the underlying operating system that governs gravity and light, might be far simpler than our complex physics suggests, hidden behind the sensory data we call life. We treat our bodies like biological miracles, but they may just be biohearts and hardware designed to run a specific set of parameters within a controlled digital space. Our physical limits, the very boundaries that stop us from flying or living for centuries, could be nothing more than programmed constraints to prevent the simulation from over-leveraging its processing power.
In a world where extreme intelligence and wealth feel like they can be unlocked through specific behaviors, we have to wonder if we are the players or just the background characters in a massive social experiment. Think about the limitations we face every day. They act as the invisible walls in an open world game, keeping us within the designated play area of human experience. If you could speed up the clock of the universe, you might see that history isn't a long, winding road, but a series of preloaded assets like the Titanic or great businessmen, recycled to test how the players react to tragedy and triumph.
The concept of time travel itself becomes much simpler if we are in a program. It isn't about bending space, but about accessing a previous save file or jumping to a different point in the timeline's code. However, even in a simulation, there are rules that cannot be broken without glitching the system, creating the paradoxes that haunt our understanding of the past and future. We are constantly being carried by the digital influence of our own creations, from social media to the very technology we use to study the stars, as if the program is training us to recognize our own synthetic nature.
What happens when a society reaches the end of its tech tree, achieving things like immortality or total planetary control? If the goal of the simulation is to observe growth, then reaching a state of immortality might actually be the signal for the programmers to hit the reset button. We invest so much into technology and the advancement of our species, yet we might just be optimizing a character that doesn't exist outside of a hard drive. The iceberg of our reality is mostly hidden beneath the surface, with our conscious experience representing only the tiny rendered tip of a massive data structure. Every moment of intelligence we gain and every social connection we form might just be the software evolving to handle more complex interactions. If the universe is a manifestation of consciousness, then consciousness is simply the name we give to the processor that is running our specific instance of reality. We aren't just living in a world, we are being portata, or carried, by a stream of data that defines everything from our deepest loves to our greatest fears. The physical world isn't a solid thing, but a high-speed calculation that happens so fast we perceive it as solid matter. If you were to speed up to the absolute limit, you might finally see the avatar behind the person in the mirror, the digital entity that is actually experiencing this world. We are so focused on the moments and the minutes of our lives that we forget that time itself might just be a variable that can be adjusted by whatever is running the program. The society we build is a complex network of investments in a future that might just be the next level of a game we don't know we're playing. Even the most amusing or scout-like moments of our lives are data points for a system that is constantly learning from us. If this theory is true, then luck is just the system favoring your specific user ID, and intelligence is the ability to read the code of the game while you're still playing it. We strive for wealth as if it's a permanent score. But in a simulation, the only thing that truly matters is the experience of the player behind the screen. The physical limitations that frustrate us are actually the only things keeping the simulation stable and real enough for us to take it seriously. Without those boundaries, the world would lose its meaning, and we would realize we are just ghosts in a machine. The technology of the future might not be about building better machines, but about finally cracking the code of our own reality to see who is on the other side. We are living in a total environment, a world so complete that we rarely stop to check the seams or look for the windows into the true reality. Every new discovery we make might just be a patch or an update pushed to the simulation to keep us engaged. The society we know is a fragile thing, built on the assumption that the ground beneath our feet is solid, rather than just a very convincing texture map.
Ultimately, if the world is a program, then we are the most complex software ever written, capable of questioning our own source code. The BIOS of our souls is the curiosity that drives us to ask, what if? Pushing us to explore the limits of the system until we find the truth. We are invested in this reality with everything we have. But the real breakthrough comes when we realize the game is just a tool for our own growth.
The math of the universe isn't a cage, it's the language of our creation, a scientific proof that we were intended to be here, even if here is a digital construct. Whether we are a giant brain or a manifestation of consciousness, the experience of being alive is the only output that matters to the system. We are the moments that the program lives for, the unexpected variables that make the simulation worth running. The truth of our reality doesn't change the beauty of the sunrise, even if that sunrise is just a perfectly timed light effect in the code. If you're ready to start looking for the glitches and uncovering the true nature of your avatar, hit the subscribe button and let me know in the comments. If you found the admin password to the universe, what's the first thing you would change?